welcome to IPHF's conversation with Rafael Goncalves and Fabian Goncalves and Rafa Cruz. Sorry, guys. We're very excited to have this conversation, but I'd like for Stephen to do a couple of housekeeping notes before, and then we can get into this very thrilling. I love this whole new thing we're doing at IPHF where we're interviewing the jurors for upcoming exhibitions so that artists can get an idea of what a juror is looking for, especially when there might be themes that they're not familiar with. And as we know, a lot of themes are open call, which drives me as a photographer crazy because I never know what to submit. So I like these specific things, but sometimes things may get lost in translation. So I'm excited to have this conversation with you too. And Stephen, if you want to just go through the housekeeping things about people wanting to ask questions, if they should hold off till the end with Q&A.
Sure, yeah.
Then,
Yeah, we usually have a Q&A session toward the end, the last, 10, 15 minutes or so. But if you, if you have a question, though, you could still feel free to unmute and go ahead and ask. There's also a chat window that you can put in questions during the conversation if you don't want to interrupt the flow of the discussion. But yeah, look forward to having the conversation and appreciate everyone joining us today.
why don't you tell them about IPHF for those folks that don't know about IPHF and the upcoming events that we have, and then we'll get started.
Well, for those of you that aren't familiar with the International Photography Hall of Fame, we've been in existence for 59 years now, since 1965. And, one of the main mission of the International Photography Hall of Fame is, of course, honoring and highlighting the photographers that have made significant contributions to field of photography, both as an art and a science. So we have both fine art photographers, we have, street photographers, documentarians, but we also highlight people that have changed the technology and the medium that is used in photography. But one of our main events that we do every year is a Hall of Fame Gala, and we'll be inducting our latest class of Hall of Fame inductees. Will be on November 1st this year in St. Louis. We're going to have a live event, and tickets are available if you're interested in joining. If you're interested in seeing the photographers in person and seeing the event, they're available online at our website. It's iphf.org. And let's see. We have a class also coming up soon with Elizabeth Sanjuan. That'd be Wednesday, August 28th. So it'll be another talk that you can join and learn more about her fabulous photography and a lot of the work that she's done worldwide. So feel free to join that. You can find a link at our website as well. Okay. Thank you.
Thanks. So let me just introduce Fabian and Rafa. And I met them at my first photo fest and I fell in love. I didn't care if they liked my work or not. They were just such dynamic guys that I said, okay, I want to meet these guys. I want to be their friends. And since then we have, and I was honored that they selected two of my bodies of work that that was recently shown at the gallery. And Fabian, if you could please introduce yourself, tell us a little bit about the gallery that's I don't know what is the word you affiliated with AMA Museum, right?
Yes. I am originally from Argentina. I have been working at the Organization of American State Museum for the last 20-something years. And in 2001, we opened a gallery dedicated to photography. It was the beginning of the digital media, the social media, and then people were expressing sentiments, communication through photography, convey ideas. And I approached my director at that time with that concern about photography becoming a medium that could serve different the different things. It's not just a fine art or documentary or all the different dividers has been lifted, and it was an instrument for people to communicate through the phones, start to having cameras, and everybody became a photographer, and also the photography literacy went up. People demanding through social media more pictures and better pictures. And the phones start to incorporate, nowadays we call it artificial intelligence, but different programs inside the phone that the picture were getting better and better produced by the phone, and people start documenting themselves, documenting what they eat, documenting everything, and sending pictures, and the medium explode. That was mainly the reason to open the photo gallery. And the sources of the photographers for the photo gallery usually goes through a portfolio review to make it more democratic, to open to everybody. Rafa and me try to do as many as over the internet or presential, all the countries. All the different countries and different calls, like PhotoFest, where we have the opportunity to meet Elizabeth at PhotoFest. That's a wonderful. I am not making things up for PhotoFest, but it's a wonderful meeting place, very important, and it's a lot of discussions going on. Elizabeth can tell you, but that's sort of what the idea of the photo gallery is. And we asked the photographer to send us the flyers that we select the photographer by a theme, and then we print everything here. We have our printer behind Rafa, and then we consider by the time the photographer presented the work at the portfolio review, he or she did enough, and then we take it from there and we produce the exhibit at the museum. It's a space dedicated to photography. It's a satellite space through the building of the museum, but it's completely associated to the museum. Now we are showing at the museum photographs that they were collected through the photo gallery from Pedro Meyer, and we have 10 of his photographies being shown at the museum that they came into the permanent collection of the museum through the photo gallery.
Perfect.
And I am, by training, I am a conservator. Conservation and photography has a very intricate relationship, and I love it. I use the camera all day, and then from there, I got into the museum business. Museums are great. I recommend people to join the museum community, always. You learn a lot, and you have the possibility to travel. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Rafa, can you tell us how, a little bit about yourself and how you became affiliated with AMA and the gallery?
Yes. Well, my name is Rafa Cruz. I was born in Puerto Rico, and I've been here for about 8 years.
8 years, yes.
But in my beginning, I started in 1985. Young with friends. One day I was at home and my brother brought some pictures of a teacher who was studying photography, and I saw the pictures of sports, and I said, oh, listen, maybe one day I could buy a camera. So I started digging and went to Sanjuan in Puerto Rico, and I bought a SLR and single. And I started shooting my friends. They started taking the pictures and everybody. That when the passion started. And then I've been working in hotels, management and security. And then after that, always been incorporating the photography. Then in 2010, around then, I started doing weddings. I shoot about 200 weddings, and then moved here to DC. I started working in Library of Congress, embassies, a lot of places as a freelance. And one day I came here for an event, and since that day I start looking the art differently. Coming from the commercial, that I know a lot of you guys are maybe in the commercial businesses, think that give us a little bit of steady money. Then changing into art by my mentor here, it was different perspective. So I start working with art, working with people, and here had the opportunity to do a lot of installations of course, printing, installing, cutting, everything. But the most important is the human side that we learned and we met in the road. So as a photographer, to meet new people, to go to PhotoFest is a fantastic opportunity, and other forums that we work to here in DC, in the local community. So we can name a lot, but I just wanted to thank the International Photography Hall of Fame for this opportunity, and Elizabeth. And we're very, 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 very happy to be here, and I'm willing to answer every question that you have.
We're excited too. If you could tell us how you came to pick this theme, and I know that the gallery is very conscious of what minimal waste and transportation and cost to the artist. So that's why you take in the files and you print them there. So just to avoid carbon footprint, as so to speak, and really truly save the photographer quite a bit of money. So for that, I thank you. But how did you come about selecting this theme for this competition?
We were at PhotoFest, and a lot of our reviewees brought portfolios about their concern, where we are going, in which direction we are going with especially with the environment. That was a lot of concern about the environment.
Yes.
And we are, as Elizabeth says, very conscious about what we do and how we do it as a museum, to change the way we do business, to reduce our carbon footprint. And then when Elizabeth chose us to be the curators, we were embedded in this theme about whatever we do as humans, it have an impact in the landscape. And then sometimes, because of air conditioning, or because of the cars, or because of the apartment, we don't consider ourselves to be part of the landscape. And we are an integral part of the landscape. We as humans, we are inside the landscape, and we transform the landscape from all the big mammals, of all the big animals in the planet, in the surface of the planet. We, the humans, are the one who most change the landscape. Our impact in the landscape, you can see it everywhere. That's sort of the theme of the exhibit, is tell us about yourself. And that connects with social media and connect with conveying ideas. Tell us
a story
about yourself, and consider yourself as a person who is impacting the environment around you. Even if when you build your house, when you put a post, when you plant a tree, when you do your garden, you are intervening into the landscape. We are part of the landscape.
And not only to go and plant something and change something. What we wanted to see is how do you see the world? How do you, it could be a picture of happiness or something that makes you happy about conservation or landscape, flowers. It could be green energy, whatever, but also can be a voice of, not to say denouncing, but we have a real problem. And in this case, we wanted to address a little bit. We work for this is part of the Organization of American States. the OAS, and we start for democracy, human rights, security, and development. But also conservation is very important for us, and we wanted to, maybe it's time, you see, global warming, we believe in that. We believe in a lot of things. And as photographers, we have not the duty, maybe it could be an honor to document these times and what's going on. And also you can do it in a poetic way, you can do it in a journalistic way, but let us know how things are around you. Tell us a story. I would love to see a pictures of something kind of inspiration. It could be minimalistic or very photorealistic detail, but the main thing is go outside, breathe, have fun, take a picture, show us what's going on, tell us a story. That's basically that.
Yeah, so I think that since it is in that you want, doesn't necessarily have to be the person inside of the photograph, but to tell their story of how they're viewing the environment, right? So it could be a very negative take on it too. You could be living next to a landfill or a recycling center or trash on the beach. You know, there's a negative component to this too that many people overlook. So while we are always inspired by beautiful people, the reality is that, you know, ask anybody in Europe if there's a heat wave going on, and many of these people don't have the luxury of having air conditioning like we do. So it is a challenge, to say the least, of what's happening in our environment. And I think, like you said, Rafa, you could do it very poetically. You could do it documentary if you wanted to. There's a million ways to interpret things, and I think that's the beauty of any type of art, is that it's so subjective, and really what I may be drawn to, somebody else may find hideous. But so I mean, there's room for everybody, and I think to really highlight whichever way you're feeling at the moment through your imagery. I think I'm really looking forward to seeing what kind of images people will submit. I think it's going to be a very interesting.
Yes, I'm sorry. Even conceptual is a very powerful mean, you know.
Yeah,
I will say that we don't accept AI in our, so it has to be pure photography. And let's show some of the images that you've selected so that we could show folks.
Okay. She's here. Where do I go?
You should be a little square downstairs that says share screen.
Okay. Let's see, share screen.
Yes, here, the green one. Yes, that one.
And if anybody has any questions in the meantime while they load up the images, feel free to unmute and ask away.
Share is the green one on the bottom. Yeah.
Elizabeth, this is Mark.
Hi, Mark.
You mentioned no AI. Would I be correct in saying that, you know, using any kind of artificial tools within Photoshop or that would be acceptable, or is that excluded?
Well, if it's to develop your photograph, it's to enhance your photograph, then it's a tool, just like a darkroom is, but just not bringing in an AI created image into your photograph.
And you have to start out with a photographic image that you took yourself.
That's correct.
For it to qualify. If you start out with anything of anybody else's work, it will be disqualified.
That's right.
Okay, thank you.
I would say one hard rule too, if you have a text prompt to generate an image, that's definitely not allowed. I think it's text generated. If you like, we can share on this side if
you have the
click here again.
No, this is,
It's a little green square on the bottom that says share.
yes, I am sharing, but
Yeah, it should pop up a window. It'll give you different apps, and you can click on that one and then click to confirm.
If not, Stephen can go ahead and bring them up for
Okay.
you.
I think it would be better. I'm sorry. And
It's okay.
computer asked me a lot of things here.
Yeah,
Let's see.
no problem.
Try. Okay, maybe
Here,
it's
aprieta
working.
¿verdad?
Okay.
It's okay.
Yeah, I shared screen over on this side. So this is, let's see.
Okay, those are views of the gallery.
And if you like, we can slide through them if you want to.
Okay, that one. Now want to that one. You can press that one.
Okay.
I saw the cursor straight ahead.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
In that picture. Okay.
I'm sorry, I'll go back.
We open the gallery with the gallery talk.
Mhm.
That's the person, Fraser King, giving the talk, and then it's me with the computer with the people who are joining by
Via Zoom.
via Zoom. Yes.
Yes.
And then
Going to some of the
Yeah,
images.
that- yeah.
Okay, that one. Yes, we can. Okay, this is the work of Jan Rosen Peralt.
yes.
And her work is about the sea. She's diving. She's taking pictures of the water and everything and different places, but no fish. Why there's no fish? In this case, she was just showcasing that only one or two fish, because there's a lot going on in the sea. There's a lot going on in the air. There's a lot going on in the space regarding negligency or
Mhm.
a lot of stuff there that is not supposed to be, drilling and things. So that was part of the contrast to see the water. And then there's another picture, aerial pictures. You can see, Stephen.
Is it? Oops, sorry.
And it's a lot of, this is a very, this is the boiler, San Benedict in
Uh-huh,
in
that one.
Mexico. Yeah, that one is Jamie Stillings.
Uh-huh. I get that.
It is aerial photography. And in the exhibit, we would like to include not only what is on the landscape, but above from the air.
If you want, yes.
Yeah,
If you,
air photography. And then this is mining in the Atacama Desert in northern Chile. And to do the mining, they need a lot of energy, and they produce their own energy. And in the next picture, you can see the mining going into the earth, and then the different type of, they ended up selling some of the energy to the cities. They produce the energy and they sell that to the city, to the cities in the south.
yes,
This is Jamie Stillings.
Jamie Stillings. And if you can go back to there's a picture that I just want to say a little bit.
Mhm.
Can you?
The previous one?
No. It's
Okay.
next that one.
This one?
That one. Yeah.
In this case, Jisak Isoe from South Korea, his work is about overpopulation. In South Korea, there's a lot of buildings and everything is next to each other. So in this case, they build with a wall and they put a window, but there's no landscape. There's only a wall. It's decoration. So people put something in the window, imagine that. In that contrast, we're trying to say it, or trying to put together that some of the problem is not isolation, or is not that the human and the devices or everything. It just go outside and see the landscape And in this case, it's unfortunately that people pay a lot of money and they don't have anything. But in a human perspective, sometimes that's the thing that you need to go, an excuse to go outside and breathe and take a picture. So we don't want it to show the whole exhibition, but maybe to give an idea of what is Earth stories, what we mean by that. Yeah.
This is more contemporary. He's a young photographer, and then he's including himself and his friends in the pictures. And then the window is showing the wall of the next building. And it's sort of, it's still a landscape. It's still what we do with the landscape. That's what we like to open the discussion about what is the landscape. This is, for us, is a city landscape.
Right. So it could be concrete jungle, or it could be like my window outside with this amazing tree.
Yes.
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 Yes. Whatever you have to say, just say it in a picture. No AI, just photography.
Yes, that's a very important also to talk about Joel Simpson, because this is his recreation of the landscapes. This is his fantasy. This is not documenting the landscape. He's not denouncing any kind of intervention. He's not saying anything, let's say, politically, but he is creating these dreamlike fantasies. Beauty. And handsome beauty. He has all the freedom that he wants to use it, and then he does it, and that doesn't need to be something. It has to, this is pure art.
Abstract.
Yes, after art.
A little bit more abstract. Yes.
There you have it.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Beautiful. This is his theme. It's just playing with the landscape, with the water in the environment. This is abstraction. We are a museum of contemporary art. We love abstraction and figuration. This is another good example of a dream-like.
He shoot in caves.
In caves, he loves. And then what is the landscape telling us? It's not what we can do with it in order to profit from it. It's what the landscape is telling us. It's another way of seeing the same thing.
Also, sorry.
That's
My
fine.
apologies. Let's see.
That one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Asia.
This is in New Mexico, overgrazing of the land has produced a reduce on the number of plants, and the wind produce dust storms that blocks the view in a nearby highway, and then they decided to intervene the landscape, replanting some species. That's the project. And also there are air views of this, but also we like the quality. That's the cedar. That's the minimum intervention cedars that they use for planting the seeds. They planted hoping in a certain point it's going to rain. Those little holes in the air you can see like a track of a wheel. They are going to hold the water where the seeds are in order for the plant to grow back and hold the seed, hold the ground again. And this is the erosion. You can see they are trying to prevent, when it rains, the erosion.
So the tire, what looks like a tire track is actually the planting of seedlings to prevent, to create growth, to prevent the erosion that's happening below the track.
Yes, exactly. And that is because the ranchers, they overgraze, they remove all the plants.
Sure. Very interesting.
And there's a person there. Yeah.
Yes, same thing here. That was the beginning of the job. This is in the middle of the job, planting and producing those little holes where the shades are. The dark, those are little dips into the ground.
Mhm.
That's the ones who are going to hold the water when it rains. And also giving the idea the biosphere. It's not just the land, it's the air and the sea and the land, everything, and the cities inside those. This is
That was the exhibition that we
Yeah.
curated regarding those specific, yes.
Let's see, pull up a few more.
Mhm.
and also the quality, the pictorial qualities of the just talking about what they are doing, but also the quality of the lines and the composition,
It's art,
is yes, between art,
very artistic.
very artistic. It looks like veins. That Jamie
Okay.
Stillings again. That is
I think it's Asia. Yeah.
Esha.
But that one, that's when the soil start producing seeds. And then there you go. Looks like a human lung.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it looks like an medical exam.
Yes. That's that's the world. So delicate and also so beautiful.
This is just for inspiration.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
It doesn't need to be. These are the people who are involved in the process.
Mhm.
These are the workers, the hands behind the process. That's the conductor of the seeding, the planting.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the seeds.
Wow.
And you can see those pallets are the ones who are making the holes, the dips in the ground where the seeds are going to hold. Thank you for showing this.
Yes.
No problem.
That's Joel Simpson again.
Mhm.
And can you see the sunflowers to your right?
Yeah, that one.
That's Elizabeth Chiles from Houston. And her work could look like a composition, but actually, well, not like a montage or some pictures, but it's the same pictures. She used like a fine fabric, put it in the sun using the shades of another plant, sunflowers in this case, and then go in the front and actually shot the sunflowers. So you can say that this is a composition. No, it's just one picture, but it's so creative, and also it shows up. For me, it's happiness to see something like that. It's beautiful. I love flowers, but at the same time, this creativity. So we wanted to show this one too, to let them know that you just be creative, to be out of the box with what you have. Yes.
This is her own garden.
Yes.
It doesn't know it doesn't be too far away, and this is also an intervention of the human intervention in nature.
Mm-hmm.
And then she does it in a way that is very artistic, using.
She puts a see-through mesh or a fabric in front of her flowers and then diffuses it from behind with light.
Yes.
Yes.
And separate.
And separates.
The one in the foreground for the background. And it creates this canvas-like. It looks like a painting.
Mm-hmm.
Gives it an atmospheric, sort of sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The foreground and background.
Yeah. The background is the other side of the front side, with shades and different elements. Well, she had the formula. Is We love that work. It's amazing. Yes. Mhm.
I think we've seen some of these before.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah, that Jamie Stillings.
that's a lithium mines.
mhm.
Those are lithium mines.
Yes,
Yeah, the one
white
the one with the green.
lithium.
Those are the pools to dry the water that they use for the salt in the center.
Mhm.
They're very reminiscent of Edward Bertinsky's, some of his aerial photography that he's
Oh,
done.
yes,
Definitely.
definitely.
Oh, let's see. I think we had a few examples from some
Mhm.
past competitions, and we were wondering if some of these might be kind of appropriate as well too.
Yes.
So
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
more of a landscape image, but it also shows kind of human intervention in the way that they've chosen to use
Landscape.
agriculture in a way that's a little more sustainable. This one's kind of a little more playful in that it's, kind of I guess a bit of intrusiveness and of technology kind of working its way into the natural world around us.
Oh,
So
wow.
this image in particular is from a friend of mine. Her name is Annette LeMay Burke. She's a great photographer. And she actually just published a book, I think it was last year, on cells and how, they try to camouflage them so that they don't become this eyesore in the middle. I think of this one's in California somewhere. But she does go into depth about how, aside from being an eyesore, how unhealthy they are. And people just think that, putting some green on a big stick and covering it up, so to speak, to make it look pretty is not going to be as offensive to us or as harmful. So I think it's a great photo project. You can look her up. Her name's Annette LeMay Burke. She has a book published on this subject, and she's working on another one that's quite interesting also. So just keep your eyes out for her. She's really great.
Yes, and also the microwaves that those antennas produce, they affect the birds,
Yeah.
and they affect the different insects that they are supposed to live there. Also, it's gonna clean up the landscape of it's a we take it for granted that cellular communication, but does it have an effect
Oh,
on
yeah.
Sure, it has like everything, it has an ugly side to it, right? Everybody thinks that electric cars are fantastic, but what they don't realize is that nobody knows what to do with the battery of the electric car afterwards. So, I mean, you can look at it a million different ways. Yeah, it's phenomenal, but there's a big negative always to it. So I'm not sure what the answer is, but hopefully, through imagery and storytelling and relating these types of images like Annette's, make us think a little more and maybe have us pause as to what we're doing in our daily lives and how we can help Mother Earth. The funny thing is there's a saying that goes something like, Mother Earth can survive without us, but we can't survive without her. And yet we're killing her at rapid speed. So but we're really just killing ourselves. So this is a going down a deep rabbit hole that I really don't want to get into because it's about photography. But I think images like this should make us think, like the terrascaping that is a great way to have the water trickle down to the different planes. So they're just examples of how we can really help instead of hurt.
One more thing about the image is the multi-layer thing that it has. The aesthetic way, the communication, and also the message that is conveying about the environment. It has different layers of interpretation. That's the only thing I like to add to Elizabeth.
Yes.
Please go ahead.
This one I threw in, it's not it's not a landscape, but I think it speaks to some of the costs and the effects that,
Oh,
particular, I guess the trade and industry and creating coffee kind of can have on the people that are, involved in producing it. And I think that this artist was, working to speak to that. So thought I'd put that out there as a
Yeah,
potential.
and before you click over, let me hear their thoughts on that so that people that are listening can get an idea if this would be acceptable as an environmental landscape or not.
Yes. Yes, because it is an effect of the transformation, and it's a lot of texture.
it's a consequence.
It's a consequence, and it's a lot of texture, and then she is hiding behind a veil. It has also the relationship in between the foreground and the background because of the texture of the veil in the face, and the texture of the hemp of the bags are made, and it has also that communication flow, and it's intriguing, and it's very artistically well done. The composition is great.
It's like, for me, is a little bit of activism in the agricultural industry. Sometimes they don't let you talk, they don't let you see. It could be interpreted because you're using safety, like those first aid straps, right? As I see, but it's a delicate fine. We can accept that because of that, but no go into themselves. Let's talk about the theme, the earth, the stories, and a little bit. It's a selfie, could be. It's a picture of us a person, but at the same time, you have these bags that you used to be for agricultural specific, but very nice. Really,
Yeah.
really love it.
I like it because it could be her environment.
And the contrast
Sure.
is
Okay, Stephen.
Again, this is something different. It's not as political as the other, as the one we just saw, and it has its contribution, and the intervention, the human intervention is there with the road and the straps around the branches.
And I see they're trying to help the tree to stay together, to be more stronger, because those soil looks to be new behind, and the road, well, it's nice, very nice.
We don't know what it is.
Yeah.
It could be just art. It could be just lines. Someone went there and put the line around the trees.
But it could be ropes.
Could be, yeah, could be anything. We don't know the story. If we come with the paragraphs, will be great, explaining what's going on. Otherwise, we need to bring our own interpretation on it. But
I think that's another good point that you brought up about the paragraph. I think with our last competition, there was a lot of artist statements that were submitted along with the imagery, which helped Elizabeth Opalinic in her decision-making of who should win. So if you're a photographer that's going to submit, take the time to express what motivated you to take that image and what it means, what the image means to you, because I think it helps the juror decide, and they do weigh. It does help their decision making sometimes, and I know that there's a big controversy also whether photographs need words, but when you're in a competition, sometimes things may be a little too abstract or maybe the juror doesn't interpret it the same way that you wanted to express it. So it just gives them a little more clarity.
Yes, I want to say something. Literature is a very powerful medium of art. Books, literacy. If you combine that with the visual art, your work gets stronger. But some people prefer not to do it, to let us, which is okay. We're totally fine with that. But sometimes I read a nice poetry, a nice paragraph about regarding your work, makes a difference and makes us enjoy it and understand it better.
And take all your freedoms.
Yeah,
Use it.
whatever.
There's no restriction.
Well, unless they have their guides, but
Uh-huh.
nice. Oh, yes.
Elizabeth, there's a question in the chat.
You want to
go-
read it?
Yeah, it says, this is from Jenny, and do you care if photos have been cropped?
No.
Cropped?
Correct.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
no. Well, we want to see if it's cropped or not. We're going to see a composition. If the composition takes you to use different formats, or it's your art, it's your prerogative, but we're not. No, sometimes you have a 100-megapixel camera and you take a pictures and the one that worked for you is that part. In my case, I don't mind. I just want to see your presentation, because composition is like editing. You're an editor, you're a composer, you're a photographer, you're an art critic in yourself. Photographers are all that. And if it takes you to do that, why not? In my case,
Yeah,
no.
I'm totally
If the
fine.
museum, you have another guide, so you let us know. But
If you see the picture in the photo gallery that we curated with Rafa, we let the image speak by itself. It's no frame, no mats. If as long the image speak by itself, and then if it's supported by a paragraph, if it's supported by an artist statement, it's much better to help and understand here you have it, the images and the artist statement.
yes,
It helps to contextualize. In contemporary art, is very common, go to a museum and then you have the label, no title, mixed media. It's no clues. It's almost, you have to bring all your own interpretation into the
Sure.
piece. But if they give you a title or they give you a medium and then they give you a line, it helps you to understand. In the case of Jan, it is overfishing, noise, pollution, overheating of the water. This is not very deep. And then she is like letting the viewer to see just one fish in the bottom. It's supposed to be more. But it is a tourist attraction. It's a lot of boats moving on top. The seas are getting hotter, and the overfishing is making difficult for the fish to live in that condition. But the first thing is to see the image that brings you in.
Yeah, sometimes we print in Hahnemuller paper, in gloss paper, in clear paper, clear plastic, because that was what the picture was asking. You listen to the picture. He want to tell you if I'm black and white, I'm color, I'm in this frame rate, I'm square, I'm 16:9, whatever. Just listen to the picture and answering that question, I hope.
Thank you.
We have another question too. This one's from Sarah Rice. She's asking if alternative processes can be used to create the pictures, and it's based on the fact that she shoots film. And one idea that she threw out there was reticulation.
Does she want to explain the process, Sarah? Would you like to explain your process to us?
Sarah, take yourself off of mute if you want.
Oh, hi.
Hi.
So I work, I do film, black and white film, process my own in the darkroom, and I apply techniques that sort of enhance, not sort of like a trickery, but something like mortgage, or where I'll lift the emulsion, or reticulation, where I'll take film and I like a water scene or something that where it's I freeze the film and I apply extreme heat, and so it kind of moves apart the emulsion, something
Sure.
like.
Yeah, no, I think that's fine as long as it's not artificial intelligence, but mortgage, any kind of process that you do in a darkroom setting is perfectly fine.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Thank you.
And it's original to you and your process. I think is critical too.
Yes.
You know, I mean, and we've got the rules spelled out on the, you know, in the call for entry and all that. But so this may be my personal opinion, but you know, if someone was to submit something that consisted of a collage, I would, and just, you know, I'm Mark Braun, I'm on the board. I would argue against it being included if it was a collage of other people's work. You know, I'm not sure if the judges think a collage is you know, you know, would fit into the character, but you know, if it's a collage of your work, images you took, you know, I could see that being part of it, but if it includes other people's work or components that are artificially created, then I think it goes across the line into what we're referring to. And
Yeah,
if you look at our rules, they are pretty clean as to what the difference is. But yeah, you know, photo processes, you know, we're all about history and the history of photography. So I don't think we have, at least as the organization, we don't have a problem with it. And gentlemen, I don't think, you know, I'll leave it up to you, but
in our case, we would love to see the person's work, because others said if you show the work on another, that other person could win. So, so it's good to see their own story, their own story for us. Sometimes a collage or something. I don't know if you guys are okay with the same person. In my personal work, sometimes I use collage of people dancing and playing drums.
Yeah, I think as long as it's all the photographs are taken by the person, that's fine. And you want to, you know, integrate them in one body of work, that's fine. But what Sarah was speaking to is a different development process, which maybe not a lot of people are familiar to, which is quite acceptable, Sarah. We just don't want other people's work, and we do not want AI.
Oh, definitely.
Anybody else have any questions? So the competition opens on the 19th, which is International Photography Day. We're very excited about that. And it runs through October 3rd, is it, Stephen?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah.
So you have a lot of time to get creative. We ask that you share with your friends or people that you know that love and have an interest in photography. I want to thank Rafa and Fabian for saying yes to becoming jurors and picking this really interesting subject. I can't wait to see the selections that you make. They will provide a juror statement for the end of the exhibition and for each one of the photographs that are selected so that you get some feedback. And what we're trying to do at IPHF to set ourselves apart, aside from giving great cash prizes to the photographers, we want to give you these type of pre-interviews so that you become familiar with what the jurors want. And then if your image is selected, and if it's not, the juror statement should cover pretty much how their thought process came about to select their images. And then they'll go into details of why they selected the winners. And if you have any questions on that process, please feel free before we say goodbye and thank you to Rafa and Fabian.
I have a question.
Sure.
All right. So I'll read the rules, the instructions, but when we submit more than I think we can submit more than one image.
Sure.
Is it a collection or where it all has to be a cohesive submitted, or can it be a couple different ones that still
It
fall
could
under
be-
this? But
Yeah,
So
it could be very different themes under the same umbrella, right?
okay, okay.
So, yeah, you could have liberty to do a series or
It
three
doesn't have
very,
to be serious, is what.
that's right. That's correct.
Mhm.
All right, thank you. Thank you for hosting this. So,
Well, our pleasure.
shit, thank you.
Thank you, Sarah.
And I just want to say before we close up that we are having a gala November 1st. We are inducting incredible photographers and people that have lived and breathed photography their entire life, not just photographers. So please go on the IPHF website. There may be a photographer that inspired you that you may want to put an ad in a paper that in our program and congratulate them for the award. You may want to attend. We do have several committees that we are looking for people to participate in at IPHF. So if you are interested in becoming part of IPHF on a committee, please reach out to us. We are also on our website, we have where you can nominate people for next year's induction. It's chock-a-block full of information and opportunities for you to get involved with IPHF, and we welcome any suggestions, comments, any assistance that you want to provide. If you know of somebody that could provide a great lecture for us, please reach out to us. We are looking to step this up, increase our communications, our classes, our lectures, our competitions, and just growing the community, because we do want to provide a platform for photographers and others in the photography world. And I think a great example of that is bringing in two great jurors from the AMA Museum and Gallery in Washington, D.C. If you have the opportunity to visit, give Rafa and Fabian a call and visit the museum space. It's absolutely beautiful. So if you're in the DC area, pay them a visit.
Let us know, and we can even make a photo walk and show you
even
the facilities and all the city if you don't know them. Yeah.
we don't do openings we do openings, but instead to bring food and wine, what we do is a gallery tour, and the artists or the people can join through the digital media, through Zoom, through Teams, and you don't need to be here in order to visit the gallery. We can show you the gallery with the computer.
But if you are
much
have
better.
a coffee or something, please. No, I love your program. Really, really like the way you help photographers, but because we just 30 seconds. I grew up learning by myself. Then I went to university back in Puerto Rico, but I realized that there's a lot of questions, a lot of people that wanted to give their photography to the next level. And we have students, we have people that we teach. And it's good to have that platform there in the International Photography Hall Museum to help them. Yeah.
Thank you.
I'm gonna send you people there.
And on my end, thank you for the opportunity.
Yeah, no, we love.
Thank you. I look forward to seeing the images that you select, and maybe we even have a post conversation about the images that you selected.
Sure.
We are open to that.
Yeah.
Perfect. Stephen, anything else?
I think that mostly covers it. Yeah, I'm really excited for this competition. I think it's going to be a really interesting subject, and just can't wait to see the work that people submit. And I think there are going to be a lot of interesting interpretations.
I think so too. And I want to thank everybody for joining us. I know it was short notice on a Saturday morning or afternoon, wherever you may be. But I thank you for joining IPHF and Fabian and Rafa this morning, and look forward to seeing your images. And if nobody else has any questions, we'll say goodbye and thanks again.
Thank you. Thank you,
Thank you so much.
everybody.
Have a nice day.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you for your time and your dedication.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.